Alright, hello everyone, this is Richard. In this video, I'd like to make a simple explanation of going from velocity data to position data. So for an example of what we're going to learn how to do, let's say you have a car that might be traveling along some sort of like long straight road, and I give you the velocity data for that car, meaning that I give you at each point in time how fast the car is moving. And from that data, we're going to want to deduce how far the car has moved from the start of where it was. And I'm going to show you how to do that. So let's do this and see how to do this by a very simple example. So first, let me start out with a simple velocity versus time graph. So on this y-axis, we'll have velocity, and on this x-axis, we'll have time. So let me give you an example of what sort of data I might give. Let's say we start out, and I tell you that the car starts at position 0. And that car starts going 60 miles per hour. And the car does that for 1 hour. So I represent that by this little line right here, and it has a value of 60 miles per hour. So this is telling you, and by the way, this interval right here, this is for 1 hour. So what the graph is telling you is that for this first hour, the car was going 60 miles per hour. Now I ask you a very simple question. I say, okay, so a car is going 60 miles per hour for 1 hour. How far did the car go in the 1 hour? Well, I think everyone could tell me that the car went 60 miles, because it's 60 miles per hour for 1 hour. Therefore, the car went 60 miles. But how did we actually get that number? Well, what we did is we did something very simple. We multiplied the velocity times the time and got 60 miles. But we all just kind of intuitively did that because it's extremely simple. But there, notice we just got some position data. So let me make a position versus time graph from this so far. So this is position. I told you that starting out, the car starts at 0 miles. So at time equals 0, it starts at 0. But then, as we just figured out, based off of this velocity versus time graph, that after 1 hour, which the car is at 60 miles. Okay. Well, let's add a little bit more to this example. Let's say, for instance, I tell you in the second hour, the car went 120 miles per hour for 1 hour. So now I'm going to ask two questions. The first question is, in the second hour of travel, how far did the car travel? I don't mean in the total amount in which the car traveled, I just mean in the second hour. Well, this again is very, very simple. We see that in the second hour the car has traveled 120 miles. But then I ask you, well, in the total 2 hours, how far did the car travel? Well, that's also very simple. So if in the first hour the car traveled 60 miles, and in the second hour the car traveled 120 miles, we know in total it has traveled 180 miles, because we just add the 60 to the 120. So we go down here to our position versus time plot, and in the second hour, we make a data point at 180 miles. Now let's add a little bit more to the situation. let's say there's a third section which the car travels 30 miles per hour, but the car only does this for half an hour. And again, I ask the same question. In this section of half an hour, how far did the car go in just that half an hour? Well, this again is very simple. We multiply the velocity times the time. And we get that in this 30 minutes, the car traveled 15 miles. Because half an hour times 30 miles per hour is 15 miles. Well, then we ask the question, I ask you again, now how far is the car traveled in total? Well, I think this is very simple. In this last 30 minutes, we see clearly that the car has traveled another 15 miles on top of how far it's already traveled. So all we need to do here is just add the 15 to the 180 to get at the point 2.5 hours. The car has traveled a total of 195 miles.